Nile TV was the only channel in the Middle East broadcasting in foreign languages in general. Now, with the rising number of these channels, how do you see this competition treating Nile TV?
This is a good question. I'm just recalling the different studies that was released lately about the foreign language networks in the Middle East, and I think that Nile TV, as a network producing soft news, public affair programs, and current political and current affair programming, are rated very high. And although the budget of Nile TV International is limited if you compare it with the other foreign language networks, but I think that it has a greater impact, especially when it comes to soft news and political programs. Mainly because, of course, the wide variety of the audience are composed of Egyptians living abroad and those who are friends of Egypt, and they would like to know about, the land of the pharaohs kind of concept. Therefore, when you go to the States or to Europe, you will find a lot of people watching 93 International because they want to know what's happening, not only with regard to the political agenda, economic, but also they would like to know about tourism and the kind of places that they want to visit and see more. Therefore, you see that there is an edge there. Most of the other networks, they produce hard news, and therefore they have a specific target audience. And those audiences, they differ because, and also they are shattered between the international American and European networks and the Arabic foreign language networks. This network started as an English language network, and then they added the French, and then they added the Hebrew, and then took the Hebrew back. So, but I see that there is a need, and this need is based on the composition of audience of those who are acting as a general audience worldwide, as friends of the Egyptian civilizations, as well as those who are people living abroad and in great need to make contact with the homeland. This composition or combination is making Nile TV International rated very high. I think there is a future for Nile TV International if there is a message to be delivered to the general audiences and tailored messages for those who are living abroad. If you keep delivering these messages, you're going to have a hold, not only as an appeal to these kind of audiences, but a hold to maintain the impact of the audiences or on the audiences for a longer period of time. In an era which is defined as a multiple channel era, where people are doing zipping and zapping and changing the channels all the time, I think Nile TV remain very strong and really standing quite well in this competition.
Nehal, back to you again now. With teen stuff now, we've seen in the past few years that there are now so many magazines for youth, and so many magazines, lifestyle magazines as well, although teen stuff not necessarily classified as a lifestyle magazine, but there are lots and lots more English magazines that are coming out into the Egyptian market. Now, especially with youth again, now, what makes teen stuff as a magazine different, and what do you think the future issues that should be talked about concerning youth? Again, whether in magazines, whether in broadcast, whether with radio even. What are the hot issues that should be talked about?
Okay, concerning the first part of your question, what really differentiates Teen Stuff from other teen magazines? First of all, Teen Stuff is a pioneer in that field. It first gave space for the first time for young students who are not still yet journalists to voice their opinions and concerns. Second thing, Teen Stuff is just a magazine. It's more of an academy, a training academy. It's not training only in the direction of journalism. It trains the different TSers in all walks of life, in communication skills, in life skills, and all that is given for free. Moreover, Teen Stuff, if you come and visit the magazine, we have a teen lounge. It's all theirs. It's their life. It's their own shell where they create everything. Plus, when Teen Stuff was first established was, hey, Egyptian teens and youth, express yourself. So this expression didn't only come out in articles. We have every year we have a talent show organized for our readers, for our writers, where they discover multiple creative faculties in themselves. So I think we're like a production line for other respectable youth magazines in the market, because they take our well-trained and fully rounded characters and take them to work with them, and they depend on them in very big projects and reviews in their own magazines, which means that we are actually achieving what we're embarked on accomplishing in the first place.
Dr. Amin.
Second part of the question? Okay.
The
hot issues that I believe that teens we should discuss regarding the teens, their feelings, their inner feelings, their relation to politics, and relation to their how they relate to international and local issues, because they have a lot of ideas in that concern, and there are not many times we allow them to speak much about them. So I think we should give them more space in that direction.
Dr. Amin, the media market or mass communication at the moment, if we're talking on a global level, we can see such a variety of channels, whether news or entertainment or otherwise. Now, at one point back when Nile TV, let's say, started off, it was the only channel broadcasting from a Middle East country in first one language, then in 3 languages. It no longer holds that standing. And at one point, Egyptian media in all of its forms had a very, very high ranking, especially in the Arab world. Let's talk frankly, what do we need? Not just as Nile TV, what does Egyptian media, what does Egyptian TV need to be able to once again, like, let's just say compete. We won't say be at the top, let's just say compete. We know it's got to do with finances, we know it's got to do with funding, but at the end of the day, there's also a lot of quality in this country. There are a lot of human resources that want to work, but how can we be what we used to be? Let's just put it that way.
First of all, we are better than we used to be. Okay. This is just a statement from an expert, so you can question it later, but or debate it. But this is the nature of things.
Yes.
When we started Nile TV International, the quality of work was not as the quality of work that you are producing right now.
No.
Okay, and this is based on research. It's not my words.
Okay.
All right, and just to tell you something, it's not a compliment. Nile TV anchors and presenters are ranked quite high on the scale in terms of performance. All right, so there are two variables here. One, the multiplicity of channels because of the digital age, and the second variable is the most of the press systems are starting to convert from authoritarian press system to be libertarian press system because of the introduction of democracy in this region. So most of the states, they transit from being in something called transitional democracies. It needs to have libertarian media. And libertarian media is very difficult to achieve, but it's better when you have multiple channel environment. And with the introduction of satellite and the internet, we got into this multiple channel environment. So before there were few, most likely Egyptian kinds of networks that had a very strong hold in the region. But now we have multiple channel environment, hundreds and hundreds of channels, and actually it's going to be thousands and thousands of channels, but we taking us into a direction toward what is defined as the information society and knowledge age, where Egyptian culture is going to play a very significant role.
How so?
Right now, if you notice that most of the talents, the Egyptian talents, been recruited to work in other networks, and they are achieving a lot of success. Actually, the most rated, most popular night programs are produced and presented by Egyptians. Produced in American terminology, just like directed by Egyptians. So in this sense, you know, the expansion of the Egyptian culture, which is very light and favorable in other cultures in the Arab world, is really creating a new culture where people recognize what's happening in this country through people like you and like you throughout the different networks. So the multiplicity of channel is not really taking from Egypt something that we had before and we don't have now. Actually, it's playing a role of support, because at the end, it's the culture. What we deliver right now, it's a culture product. So the more culture products are produced, the most likely the Egyptian culture is going to
Expand.
exactly, absolutely.
Dr. Amin, as you teach to your students the different systems of news gathering, the British system versus the American system of news gathering, and the Americans focus on getting as fast as possible to the story, while the British focus on more in-depth analysis of each story. What would be the Egyptian system of news gathering?
It's a good question.
Students,
That's
a good question.
you're testing me. There are different schools of thought regarding especially in news. The British been always very popular with in-depth stories, and they are the best in producing democracy. Documentaries. I'm sorry, producing documentaries, and this is well documented in research. The Americans, they are very good in covering the news. Spot, eyewitness news. What just anything happens, you will find it through satellites, global beam, and you will see it. And there is magic in this, because it's very expensive operation. If you don't have correspondence and technology to be able to break the barrier of time and space all the time, so you can have an eyewitness news item to the world, then your position is going to be shaky. But they are very good in covering news on the spot, and not only giving it to their networks, but also making it available to the rest of the world. And we're talking about two things over here. First, I said breaking the barrier of time, things that are happening far away. There is time zones, of course, producing the news, and people, they don't think about this, but and then the distance. So breaking the barrier of time and the distance, and making this available to, one is availability, and then the accessibility of the news to the audiences. So we're talking about also quality and immediacy. And the two variables, quality and immediacy, they don't go along very well together. But with American approach, they are quite popular in bringing immediacy and quality together. The British, as I said before, they are excellent and the best in the world to produce documentaries.
And we are closer to...
We are here, we actually, because of the influence of the British in Egypt, we were most likely lenient to go with the British School of Thought. But we try to have a taste of the American also approach. But as I said before, the American approach is very expensive. So Egypt is good in producing soft news, but not hard news.
Dr.
And this is also, there is a terminology of and debate about what is defined as protocol news, which is, you know, the broadcast of the agenda of the president, which is of course also been supported by Stevenson, for example, one of the best experts, and he's a well-known academic in the U.S. The people, they will know about what's happening in the country through the leadership of the country, which is also an approach by itself, and well documented in the third world.
Ms. Nehal, don't you ever think that what if I was conveying my messages in Arabic through Teen Stuff? How different would it be?
I also...
How different is the... is there a different message between Ihna and Teen Stuff? I mean, even though it's just a different language?
No, we have Kalmetna magazine that's in Arabic,
Yes.
also written by youth, and Teen Stuff is written in English. So I've been there, I've seen that, and I felt that we're reaching a wider scale of readers and writers. But no, if you're talking about the voice,
is more popular among the youth and teenagers.
It's popular among its readers, and the readers of Kalmetna are not the readers of Teen Stuff, and sometimes they intersect, but mostly it's different. Kalmetna is a higher age group, so I think, but surprisingly enough, you find very much the concerns and the problems are so much similar, despite the difference of age groups.
So the content would not differ?
No, not very much. No, I wouldn't say that. And in answering your question, Ihna would be put into a comparison with Kalmetna, not Teen Stuff.
Yeah, precisely.
Nehal Salah, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Hussein Amin, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
And we'd like you to convey your message to the audience of Nile TV.
Okay. First.
Ladies first.
All right. Congratulations. Happy 15th anniversary, and you've been doing such a great job. And I do expect a lot more. And I believe that we have great anchors and presenters. We have a great people behind the camera. We have all that we need to produce the best quality. And that I'm answering here, we need to top them. We can top them very easily if we have the right management. And I hope you just rock.
Dr. Hussein?
In short, you have achieved a lot. You came a long way, but I think the best is yet to come.
It's not over yet. Thank you, Dr. Amin, and thank you, Nehal, for joining us. It's been a pleasure having both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Now we have a
We'll
short
be
break.
back to this break, the news.
Oh yes, news time. Okay, we'll be back after the news.
And we have more guests coming up.
It's a great achievement as a very powerful public diplomacy tool for Egypt abroad. The main target audience, of course, of Nile TV International was general audience, in contrast to the people that are saying that the target audience are the people who are acting as expatriates in Egypt. This is true too, but for the first time a network has a general audience worldwide, and the main objective of Nile TV International ever since its inception was to promote the image of Egypt, as you stated, abroad. There were, at the time after the IPCD conference, 1993, this was on Nile TV International, was on ultra frequency and was a network started to serve the conference. But immediately after, there was a great recognition that there is a need for the network to become a national and then an international network. The connection that this network made in the past 15 years with the general audience and the second and the third generations of Egyptians living in Europe and especially in the United States is unprecedented. The one research that was done just classified Nile TV International as one of the main networks for the second and third generations of Egyptian and Arabs living abroad, because at the time also in the past 15 years and until very recently there were no Arab English language network reaching the different continents as Nile TV International. So back to your main point, I think there is a great achievement of Nile TV International must be recognized on the international level as well as the regional level, and also on the local level, addressing the expatriates living in Egypt.
Nehal, now, being a person whose magazine actually works with teens, it's all about youth, and our channel does have a number of programs about youth, but how do you see the importance of media in actually relating to certain issues maybe to do with youth, whether it is this media, whether it is magazines, print, or in broadcast? I mean, do you actually feel that that these types of media are important in relating to issues of youth, and where has that come? Where have we come up or reached, in a sense?
Definitely, it's very important that you're targeting a certain segment. Specialization is the future in everything, and this gives you some kind of focus on what exactly to discuss the concerns, the problems, to voice their dreams, their aspirations, to give them the required attention that they deserve. Especially if we're talking about the youth and the teens in Egypt, the Egyptian teens and youth really need that kind of attention. Because a lot of people expressed their views about the youth and expressed how the youth are thinking and expressed how the youth should be dreaming, and at some point they had to come out and voice their own ideas and concerns and interests. So yes, in answer to your question, it's very important, and that's why I believe that different programs that you direct to the youth and Teen Stuff magazine and Kelimetna magazines, which are written by teens and young people of Egypt, I think it's very important. It's required.
One other thing, I mean, sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of youth or youth issues are either not heard enough, like you were saying, yes, or sometimes there are issues which are considered taboo. Do you think that media should actually relate to those things as well? I know that we are in a Middle Eastern society that sometimes might not like certain issues talked about, but is it the role of the media to address certain issues like that? Otherwise they will nevertheless happen in society, and nobody's going to talk about them.
Well, I don't think that denying the existence of anything means that it's not there. It's there, and the media and the mass media in general is a tool, and it really depends on how you use the tool. You can use it very carefully, with the scientific research, with putting into consideration all the traditions, the values, the norms, and by that you can. There's nothing we should never call anything a taboo, as long as we can, and we're able to discuss it in a proper manner.
Now we'll be seeing the students' opinions and the professor of mass communication's opinions concerning Nile TV International, and we'll be back.
Okay.
Do you enjoy watching Nile TV?
I do usually, but sometimes I don't like to watch it,
Yes.
frankly.
Yes. So, what are some of the programs you do like to watch?
I like having fun. I used to like Patagonia, but it stopped now. And I don't remember actually.
What about our newscasts? Do you like our news bulletins?
I like it, but I like it when it was once in an hour.
Yes.
But now I think that you reduced the amount of the news. I don't know.
Not really. We still have it every hour.
Really? Okay, it's my problem.
What would you like to see more on the channel?
I like to see more programs that are directed to youth. I need to see myself in these programs. I like from you to reduce the amount of the historical sides that you talk about in the channel. I like to see more drama, of course.
Do you think the channel caters well to foreigners here in Egypt?
Actually, I don't think so, because it's the only channel that directed to the foreigners, and I don't think that they do enjoy it. Because many reasons. Some of them that it's not suitable to their needs. I think so. It's suitable more for the Egyptians, not for the foreigners.
What are your favorite programs on Nile TV International?
Really, I love Nile TV and all, but I love Nile DJ. He introduced many songs that I love it, such the news in clips also. Also, I watch Nile DJ because fish news